Hi folks, Russ here from Westside Christian Church. So last night I taught on something I thought was very important, and we had some people out, some leaders sick, and I wanted everybody to know the theme and where we were going, so if they wanted to follow through with it with their students, they could.
Listen over here, okay. So grace and mercy are very big parts of the machine of our faith. If you take one of them out, the faith that you're supposed to be walking isn't going to work right. So it's important at times to dissect, take apart the little machines of our faith and how we look at mercy and grace and love and justice and truth and all these things, and take them out and say, Lord, is this right? Because there's things He wants to continually teach us on. No matter how smart you are, Jesus wants you to keep learning for the rest of your life. We're never going to have a brain that can hold all that He has for us. But the more we open to Him, the more we're willing to take things out, the more He can change it, add to it, make it more alive, make it more fantastic, more phenomenal. Because everything that we can get from Him is for a good reason. So, grace and mercy, big parts of it. Grace is getting something good, a blessing that you didn't earn and don't deserve, like going to heaven when we die. That's a free gift from God. You have to accept the gift. You have to accept that relationship. You get grace. You get to go to heaven. Mercy is not getting something bad or a punishment that you've earned and deserve. Mercy is what keeps us from going to hell. Okay, now I know some of you are probably like, I don't know that I deserve going to hell. Well, let me explain. The Bible is very clear that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We all need God's grace and mercy. We need to be forgiven, move out of this place that we are, having sin in our lives. Sins are things we do, things we say, things we don't do. They're also things we just hide in our heart. There's a lot of those. And they're going to haunt you your whole life. But if you know that you are in a place of mercy, you can move on every day. I had a bad day yesterday, Lord, I failed. But today, I'm going to lean on you, I'm going to plug into you, I'm going to hold you with both hands, and you're going to walk me to a new place. Mercy and grace and everyday need. Now, here's a statement I need you to consider. Mercy has to do with stopping judgment. Mercy is what God uses, what He applies to us, what He puts on us, so the judgment will stop when it sees us. Hazel, you did. Oh, Jesus took care of that. Imagine if bad things had to stop. I think there's a verse in the Bible that says, the wicked one touches us not. We belong to Jesus. Mercy is this thing that's supposed to help with the issue of justice. Before I explain justice to you, I'm going to read some verses. These all have to do with mercy and judgment. Lamentations 3:22 through 23. It is the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because His compassion fails not. The Bible is saying that if it weren't for God's mercies, sin would attack us and eat us up. His mercies are new every morning. Great is His faithfulness. James 2:13. Judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. Mercy triumphs over judgment. This is God saying, if you're not giving mercy to people, why are you expecting me to give you mercy? If you're not, see, mercy is a living thing. It's this thing we're supposed to get involved in, and we're supposed to stand in, and we're supposed to give it. Hold on. Matthew 5:7. Happy or blessed are those who are merciful to others, for God will be merciful to them. Matthew 16:19. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Keep your eyes open. Whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. That's God saying, if you are willing to take a stand and represent me in an area, let's say with mercy or with grace, I'm going to release it for you. So, like He's your boss. Lord, I'm going to release mercy in people's lives. And He's like, good, I'm going to open this window and pour mercy on you. Hosea 6:6, God says, I desire mercy and not sacrifice. I'd rather you know me than give me burnt offerings. Romans 3:23 through 24, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. All are justified freely by Jesus, His grace through redemption and mercy that Christ gave. Okay. Mercy isn't God saying sins don't matter. Mercy is not God saying sins don't matter. Mercy is not God saying sins don't matter. Mercy is God saying a sin must be paid for. I'll do it for you. There's a punishment for sin. Who knows what the punishment for sin is? What?
Hell.
Hell. Death, hell.
Death.
Wait, isn't there a B, like section, a smaller sin? What about smaller sin?
No.
Hell. Thank you, sir. That's it. Punishment for sin is death and hell. Mercy is God saying, sins must be paid for, but I will do it for you. That's why most of us get saved. I don't want to pay that. I'm scared. I see the ugly things in my story. I don't want them anymore. I can't fix them myself. Jesus, will you help me? And we get saved. I have 3 parts to this illustration to explain it better. Number 1, what is justice like? How does justice work? Justice we often picture, not toilet paper. Justice we picture, it's a lot of countries have it, a blindfold on a woman with a blindfold so she can't see. In one hand is a sword. This is an actual sword. I'm not going to let you play with it. And a scale. So she's blindfolded and she's got a sword and a scale. Somebody explain? How is that a picture to help us understand justice? You know, Noah.
You have a scale to keep things balanced, and you use a sword to enact that.
Okay. Blindfolded because I'm not looking at my friend like, oh, well, I love her and she's pregnant and like, it's let her go. Justice is, I don't care who you are, I'm not looking at you. All I know is that when you do something wrong, the scale is tipped, you deserve hell. Imagine, I often in my life picture justice as a person with a big sword, because I watched Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, I don't want to release that. I don't want to loose that on other people, because the Bible says the things I let loose on earth, he'll let loose in heaven. I want justice. I want justice to look at me and say, Jesus paid for that, didn't he? Okay, I'll put this down. The problem with us is we do this. We look at justice and say, I did one bad thing, but I know my friend over here, Abby, she's a pain in the butt. She did more bad things. Watch. She's worse than me. So I want justice to go on to her. Here's the thing, though. With God, he's only measuring us one at a time. One at a time. Nobody else is on the other side of the scale, Abby. No one else, so knock it off. Okay. Just us. I got to tell you something. If you're born on this planet, the scale's tipped the wrong way already for you. Already. Do I want this coming after me? You know what we do? We go, well, what about that person? What about that person? And you got to picture justice coming after you for that one little thing. And I got to tell you, most of us in here will admit there's a lot more than that one little thing tipping the scale. I don't want justice for me. I want mercy. I want Jesus to step in the middle and say, I'll pay for that. And that's what this is about. That's what he did. That's what he did. He told justice to put it away. Not that he was erasing it. Don't worry about it. He said, no, someone does have to pay. I will die on the cross so that Russ doesn't have to face justice. So that Silas doesn't have to face justice. So that Jace, Leah, and Wendy don't have to face justice. I will die on the cross for them. This is a huge, huge thing to keep rolling in your brain and in your heart, because when everybody else is looking at you and doing stuff to you, this is what we do naturally. We keep tabs. We make a list. Oh, that person in school. No, they deserve justice. Tell you what, you deserved it too. I deserved it too. And when I realized what justice was, and the only way out, I ran to my Jesus and I asked him to save me and forgive me. I still know what I did wrong, but I know justice isn't the issue. Mercy is the issue of my life. So, here's my second question for you. It's all on the same kind of mental page here. This says, read this for me, Lucy. Splash zone. What is the splash zone? Somebody, not Noah. Somebody else define the splash zone for me. Yes, Jackson, your hand's almost raised.
A zone in which you get splashed.
A zone, thanks for trying so hard. A zone in which you get splashed. How?
Usually buy something splashing.
I'm going to come over there with a sword. Abby, thank you. Please be a better sibling.
Usually buy water.
Okay.
Something cold.
Is that you, Axel?
Cold.
Does he need to do something?
Yeah.
Okay. Water, something cold.
Some sort of
So
liquid.
it could be. Go ahead.
Some sort of liquid.
Okay, a liquid. Now, if you're in the kitchen and you drop an egg or something, you might be in the splash zone and it gets on your shoes. Typically, we think of splash zone as you're going to SeaWorld, there's a killer whale that jumps up and it hits, and everybody in the splash zone gets what? Wet. Hold on to this, because it has a lot to do with mercy. Number 3. How does God offer mercy? Is there anyone who doesn't have access to mercy from God? Danielle, is there anybody? God wouldn't say no to anybody, would he? He wouldn't say no to anybody. The last thing we need to understand is that mercy wants to use the very same list we were making for judgment. Mercy wants to use it too. Let me explain. When Jesus died on the cross, it's like he rained down mercy on this planet. There was no mercy before that. Not saving mercy. And what he used was a very, not this. This is one of my paintbrushes for detail. What do you notice about the size of this paintbrush, Miss Tara? Okay. This is how Jesus applies mercy. Okay, he's like, hit it. Everybody can get mercy on them. That's what it's about. It's about, no, behave. You get nookie and mercy. This is my Jesus. This is what he did. Why do we then insist on using this and writing people out? Abby, I need someone I can be rough with. Silas, come up here a second. Can you stand here?
Somebody that can be rough
Mercy
with.
falls. We're in a good church for right there. You know what we do when our hearts are built with justice and we're thinking justice? We do this. No, I want mercy. But you don't deserve it. I know the things you did. Your mom told me. She sent me a picture of all that bad stuff you do. What's mercy supposed to do? Dude, get in here. Come on, look at it. Imagine you're in the shower. Put your arm up. Yeah. This is what mercy is supposed to do for us. This, not this, but this. In your life, are you pushing people out of God's mercy? Are you withholding because they wronged you? Thank you, sir. And I'll delete all those pictures your mom sent. I'll send them to everybody. Are you just using a paintbrush that's so small and you're making a list? You shouldn't be getting mercy. I deserve mercy. I know Jesus, I'm his. But you messed up really bad. You don't get it. You stay over there. Or are we grabbing people? Are we grabbing people and bringing them in? I understand there are other things in our faith, like they've hurt me 7 times or 12 times. I don't want to trust them anymore. Just because I don't want to trust them doesn't mean I can't bring them into mercy. If what God says is true, the things that I let loose on earth, he lets loose in heaven, don't I desperately want to make sure that mercy's still flowing? Don't I want to make sure desperately that this brush is still there for me? Mercy. It doesn't make you a sucker. It makes you smarter than everybody else. I need this. I hug this. This is, Lord, can I have some more? Every day of my life on this planet, I'm going to need this. And every day I get older, I grab this more. I grab this sooner. I grab this faster. I wake up going, give me the paintbrush because I'm going to need it about 4 seconds after I leave the room. Why am I so stingy with it? Why am I so stingy with mercy? Shouldn't the splash zone for mercy in my life include everybody in my life? Strangers, friends, enemies? If it's true, Jesus, if it's true that you say you give mercy to those who are merciful, and that what I release on earth is what you release from heaven, then don't I want that? Don't I want that splash, that big brush just to cover me from head to toe? And even those things I want to try and hide. Nobody knows. Mom didn't take those pictures, but I know what I did. I know how I thought. I know what I felt. I need mercy. Should I just be running down the street slapping everybody with a giant paintbrush full of mercy? Is what I should be doing. What do you think actually changes an enemy into a friend?
Mercy.
Mercy. You have to understand how big mercy is supposed to be in your story. Not this. This is not what you want walking around in your story. Thank you. I don't want this in my story. I know God's going to do it. And I know Jesus paid for me to be excused from it. He took it. He didn't erase it. He didn't just say, don't worry about it. He said, Russ is guilty. I want to pay that for him. That's why he's my Savior. That's why I want to do things to bless him. And that's why if I walk the way he walks, I will get those blessings. I will get those things in my life. I will open that door to walk in deeper with him. Make your splash zone huge. Huge. Your annoying sibling? Yeah. Most of you are like, yeah. Bring them in. I know Hannah's just gonna. I have an annoying sibling, right? Make it huge. Here's the thing. Matthew 16:19 again. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Me walking around with a scale keeping track of other people's sins or how they've hurt me. If I put that down, he puts that down. Could I have that much power? Walking like Jesus in the lives of other people where they don't feel judged? How often have you felt judged and you just had a bad attitude towards that person? They think they're right or they blah, blah, blah. Or they think, it doesn't make anybody happy, judging or being judged. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Apply mercy very generously. Use a big brush, expand your splash zone. My shirt today says, Lord, give them what you give me. This is something Millie and I started when we were driving, because what you really want to say when you're driving is you're an idiot. Where'd you get your license? Walmart. And hey, you go home, Michigan people or Minnesota people, whatever. But that never helps me. That's just me keeping track of wrongs. And I don't want my wrongs kept track of. So we decided we would say this when something happens. Lord, give them what you give me. It doesn't always make me happy to go that way. But when I think that means the sword is put down, it's not coming after me. That means the brush is pulled out of the paint can and it's slopping all over me. Okay, Lord, give them what you give me. You have an assignment today when you go to your rooms. Let me do this. Okay, 2 separate ways to think about sin. Okay, this one says concerning me. This one says concerning them. Okay, here's my list concerning me. Lord, I am sorry I've done some things that I need mercy and forgiveness for. I took something that wasn't mine and didn't ask first. I thought things that were impure. I've been upset with someone. I've judged someone. I treated someone unkindly. I wanted something that belongs to someone else. I ignored someone who I felt wasn't worth it. Wasn't that important? I told an untruth. I didn't do the right thing in the situation. How often we use words like that for ourselves, but when we're talking about other people, this is concerning them. Lord, please help me. I have been wronged by some people. I'm asking for justice from you. They stole from me. They're a bad person. They treated me unfairly. They insulted me and put me down. They were mean to hurt my feelings. They got me in trouble. They judged me unfairly. They lied about me. They knew what they were doing was wrong. Here's the problem. Here you get to your classroom. It's only one sheet of paper. If I'm really understanding what mercy is, if I want forgiveness for one side, forgiveness is there for both sides. You're going to go into your room, there's clipboards and pens. I want every group, before you do your happy crappy, everyone should fill one out. Don't do it with your friend like, hey, yeah, Vanessa was blah, blah. Do it honestly. Lord, I did some stuff I needed to forgive him for. And Lord, someone did stuff to me. And I want it gone. It was too windy today and rainy, so I was gonna have a fire pit and have you fill one out, and we'd all throw them into the fire pit. Wouldn't it be nice if all the bad things you did were destroyed? Can you really ask for that without giving it? Can you ask for that without giving it? So what we're gonna do, because I did it in the fire pit, a good day for it. I'm gonna turn it on. So my sins and the sins of someone who's hurt me. Can we do that? Can we understand that grace is that? It's not keep my list separate or keep their list separate. It's let mercy go. Use a big brush. Extend the splash zone. So I know that we all have people that we've been hurt by or that we would like to see justice for. But today, can you put them on the paper with the stuff you've done on the other side? And just give it to Jesus and say, Lord, give them what you give me and let it go. And here's a promise, because the weather's not good for today. Tomorrow night, I'm going to come over and set up the fire pit. I will take all those shredded papers and I'll burn them. I'll take a picture and send you all pictures.
Thing about this idea of mercy. God's not telling you, and I'm certainly not telling you, that you need to be a chump or a sucker or let someone abuse you and abuse you and abuse you. I'm saying, since my Jesus from the cross said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing, maybe we need to not fight for ourselves quite so much. You can walk away. You can love someone, give someone mercy, and then decide that they're not going to be a part of your life that way anymore, so they won't keep using you. God's not asking you to just keep getting in line to be a chump. He is saying if they ask you for a coat, give them your other coat too and walk the extra mile. He's asking you to do that. He's asking you to be like him. But if you stand with that paintbrush of mercy in your hand, your decisions will probably be tempered. That's a different, not like a temper being angry. It'll probably be settled and changed and measured by using that paintbrush on yourself to be a little kinder, a little wiser, a little more, I can let that go. I can let that go. That anger doesn't need to own me. So it's not about being a chump. It's not about just taking the same stuff again and again and being abused again and again. It's understanding I'm going to start at mercy. I'm going to side with mercy. I'm going to err on mercy's side. I'm going to stand with that paintbrush, cover myself. I'm going to splash them on other people and make sure there's mercy in the situation. And then if in wisdom I feel led to say no to someone, no, you can't do that. It's okay. It's still in mercy. It's still in mercy. But you have to walk that walk with Jesus. That's why that part of your faith machine, mercy and grace, need to be working properly and need to be adjusted at times. My view of what being like Jesus is so different from what it was when I got saved or what it was 15 years ago. It's very different. My story has brought a lot more hurts and a lot more things that I just couldn't figure out and just had to hold on to Jesus and say, just carry me, Lord, I want to be like you. And my definition of mercy is very different and makes me very different, my faith very different. And I like the me that I'm becoming better than the me I was because I see more Jesus in it. I see more mercy, more grace, more truth, more love, more honor, more humility. All right, guys.